Important articles related to emergency provisions. Part 18, Article 352 to 360 of the Constitution of India talks about the emergency provisions. Article 352 deals with the proclamation of an emergency due to war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. This particular article, this particular um, declaration is known as national emergency also. So Article 352 deals with the proclamation of an emergency due to war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. But sometimes a president can declare a national emergency even before the actual occurrence of war or external aggression or armed rebellion. If he has enough reasons to believe that there is a threat to any part of the country or to the country, he can or she can declare the national emergency. The phrase armed rebellion was inserted by the 44th Amendment Act of 1978, replacing the original phrase internal disturbance. So before 1978, the place where you can see armed rebellion as a reason, internal disturbance was used. So after 44th Amendment Act of 1978, armed rebellion was inserted, replacing the original phrase internal disturbance. So now add add 4 to Article 352. So now you have Article 352, which deals with national emergency. Adding 4, it becomes Article 356, imposition of president's rule, right? So now, in simple words, president's rule is when state government is suspended, central government directly administers the state through the office of the governor. Please remember these three important points. What is president rule? President's rule is when the state government is suspended. State government is suspended. Central government directly administers the state through the office of the governor, right? So president's rule, there are two important articles to remember. Article 365 of the Constitution imposes the president's rule on a state. On that state which fails to comply with the direction given to it by the union government. Even though the state enjoys autonomy and discretion in running their internal affairs and conducting the business of the state, there are certain circumstances when the union gives particular directions to the state. It is state's responsibility to follow those instructions. If any state fails to follow these instructions, and in that cases, president can impose a state emergency under Article 356 of the Constitution and impose a president's rule in the particular state, right? So now parliamentary approval is necessary for the imposition of the president's rule on any state. The proclamation of president's rule should be approved in both houses of parliament, that too within 2 months of its issue. The approval is through a simple majority. Through the simple majority, they consider the approval. The president's rule is for a period of 6 months only. It can be extended for a period of 3 years, but again with parliamentary approval every 6 months, right? So the 44th Amendment to the Constitution brought in some restrictions on the imposition of president's rule beyond a period of 1 year. So the 44th Amendment to the Constitution says that the president's rule cannot be extended beyond 1 year unless there is a national emergency in the state, right? Or the Election Commission of India certifies that it is necessary to continue the president rule in the state because of difficulties in conducting assembly elections to the state, right? For any reasons, if there is a difficulty in conducting the assembly elections in the state, so Election Commission of India can certify it, and through which president's rule can be continued after 1 year, right? Just a second. I think I have just. So now again add 4 to 356. So we are go on adding 4 to each article. So 352 national emergency, 356 state emergency, 360 deals with financial emergency. Empowers financial emergency, empowers the president to invoke financial emergency, right? So Article 360 empowers the president to invoke financial emergency. A proclamation of declaring financial emergency must be approved by both the houses of parliament within 2 months from the date of its issue, just like president's rule. Both the houses of parliament are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. A proclamation of financial emergency may be revoked by the president at any time by a subsequent proclamation. Such a proclamation does not require the approval of parliament. Declaring financial emergency require approval of both the houses, but revoking the proclamation of financial emergency can be done any time by the president. This cannot, this need not to have an approval of parliament. Okay, so add 4 again to Article 356. Article 360 deals with financial emergency. Add 4 again to Article 356. Article 360 deals with financial emergency. Article 360 empowers the president to invoke financial emergency. A proclamation or declaring financial emergency must be approved by both the houses of parliament within 2 months from the date of its issue. Both the houses of parliament are Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. A proclamation of financial emergency may be revoked by the president at any time by a subsequent proclamation, and this proclamation does not require the approval of parliament. Please remember this. Only to declare the financial emergency, there has to be no approval taken from both the houses of parliament, but to revoke it, there need not to be an approval taken by any of the houses of parliament. So that's all. 352 national emergency, 356 state emergency, 360 is our financial emergency. So these 3 important articles to remember: 352, 356, and 360. Right. So we'll come back with few more topics. Till then, take care.